File in this Dec. 15, 2017. File photo. United States Attorney General Jeff Sessions speaks during a news conference at the Justice Department in Washington. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is going after legalized marijuana. Sessions is rescinding a policy that had let legalized marijuana flourish without federal intervention across the country. That's according to two people with direct knowledge of the decision. AP photo. Carolyn Kaster. File. Denver. Whether to crack down on marijuana in states where it is legal is a decision that will now rest with those states' top federal prosecutors, many of whom are deeply rooted in their communities and may be reluctant to pursue cannabis businesses or their customers. When he rescinded the Justice Department's previous guidance on marijuana, Attorney General Jeff Sessions left the issue to a mix of prosecutors who were appointed by President Donald Trump's administration and others who are holdovers from the Barack Obama years. Legal experts do not expect a flood of new cases, and people familiar with the job of U.S. attorneys say prosecutors could decide against using already limited resources to seek criminal charges against cannabis companies that abide by state regulations or their customers. There are higher priorities: terrorism and opiates to start with, said Rory Little, a former prosecutor and a professor at the University of California Hastings College of Law. You also have to draw the jury pool from the local people, who appear to generally support the state policy. You're not going to waste your resources on cases you can't win or cases your community is against. Until Sessions' announcement on Thursday, federal prosecutors followed guidelines laid out in the so-called Cole Memo, which was issued by the Justice Department during the Obama administration. The memo discouraged prosecutors from going after people participating in the marijuana trade in states where recreational marijuana is legal, except in cases with aggravating factors. Sessions revoked that document and others, citing the fact that pot remains illegal under federal law. Federal prosecutors are not elected, but they often have long histories working in their districts. They are surrounded by attorneys who have spent their careers arguing federal cases before judges, who can make their displeasure with a U.S. attorney known in sentencing decisions and in the scheduling of cases. That environment will not change because of a memo from the Attorney General, Little said, but the change will undoubtedly create some confusion and an uneven landscape, said John Walsh, the former U.S. attorney for Colorado appointed by Obama, who left the office in 2016. Prosecutors in western states wanted guidance from the Justice Department when the likelihood of state marijuana legalization became clear in 2010 and 2011. They hoped to avoid a patchwork of prosecution strategies, Walsh said. When the policy is so broad and uncertain that it's left case by case to different decision makers, it creates confusion and uncertainty that can be unjust. Walsh said, "This is a uniquely difficult position to put the U.S. attorneys in. You could easily wind up with a very different approach in different areas." U.S. attorneys around the country responded cautiously to Sessions' announcement. Some issued written statements suggesting that change would not dramatically alter their approach to marijuana. In Colorado, U.S. Attorney Bob Troyer said his office will continue to focus on identifying and prosecuting those who create the greatest safety threats to our communities around the state. Troyer took over the office on an acting basis when Walsh, the Obama appointee, left. In November, Sessions named him the interim U.S. attorney. Trump could nominate a replacement at any time or decide to keep Troyer, a career prosecutor and attorney. The new U.S. attorney in Massachusetts, Andrew Lelling, a Trump appointee who was confirmed by the Senate in mid-December, called marijuana a dangerous drug in his statement on Sessions' action. But he also said his office will focus on bulk cultivation and trafficking cases. and those who use the federal banking system illegally, while considering its available resources, the seriousness of each crime and its effects. In California's Eastern District, newly sworn-in U.S. Attorney McGregor Greg Scott grew up in Humboldt County, deep in California's famed Emerald Triangle marijuana-growing region. But he became a career state and federal prosecutor who has spoken favorably of a previous federal marijuana crackdown. Scott's spokeswoman, Lauren Horwood, said he declined to comment on the most recent federal move. The cultivation, distribution and possession of marijuana has long been and remains a violation of federal law for all purposes, she later said in a statement. We will evaluate violations of those laws in accordance with our district's federal law enforcement priorities and resources. Brian Vincent, a Denver attorney who co-wrote Colorado's 2012 constitutional amendment legalizing recreation marijuana, said the industry will closely examine the background of any new U.S. attorney nominees. If this is in any way accompanied by a changing of the guard through the appointment of very conservative, anti-marijuana candidates, that's a red flag, he said. Walsh, the former U.S. attorney for Colorado, said sitting and incoming top federal prosecutors in pot-friendly states should rely on their staffs, who have years of experience investigating cases, to put marijuana in context with other priorities. Those people make decisions about which cases they can win and which cases are crucial, he said. Thompson reported from Sacramento, California. Associated Press writer Bob Salzberg in Boston contributed to this report.